there, CEOs. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Barter Black's Today in Black History podcast, where I am spotlighting Black-owned businesses that you need to know. I am here today with Miss Krystal Jones, who is the owner of Brilliant Babies, whose mission is to create fun, engaging, screen-free play and learn activities for young children. Hi, Krystal. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I am amazing. So I, just want to jump right on in. First, tell us more about Brilliant Babies.
So, previously I was a classroom teacher for 10 years, and I didn't have any. This was before I was a mom, and so like my students, they were like my babies. I taught kindergarten, so they were like still babies, but still, trying to be independent. They're like that in between, stage. So we had a really good relationship, and we had fun, and learning was like always a party. That was like always the theme of year. Learning is a party in Miss Jones' classroom. And I prided myself on making sure learning was fun for them. Like I wanted them to enjoy coming to school. Like I had a very low absence rate in my classroom. In my class, I had these things called busy bags.
Okay.
And it was like such a big hit in the class. Like the kids always want to do busy bags. Even they would take them outside for recess sometimes. And all they were essentially were just activities that all fit into a bag that worked on one skill set. So it could be alphabet, sight words, rhyming, counting, like it could be, opposites. They vary, you know what I mean? They were able to basically take ownership of their learning and take it anywhere. They could work in the library, they could lay on the floor, they could lay under the desk. I have very flexible, whatever made you happy, long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing your own task, I was okay with it.
Right.
And so busy bags were, a huge hit. So much so that they started talking to parents about them, and parents are like, what are these busy bags? Where can we buy them? I'm like, you can't, I make them. You know what I mean? So parents was like, well, can we buy, I want to buy them. And so they kind of like started from there as just a hobby when I was a teacher. And I started making them, and parents would buy them, and like to take home. In 2019, I got pregnant, and I physically, like, I had started taking orders, and I like closed out the year in December. It was like, it was going really good. Even my kids were like helping me, in class. We was like, it was doing like, it was great. So in 2019, I got pregnant, and then shortly after there, COVID hit. And so I kind of just like shut it down completely. And fast forward, I ended up being able to like leave teaching after my second baby. My husband got a job relocated us 6 hours from Houston, where we're from. And he was like, you should go back to busy bags. Like it was doing really well. It had only been like 6 months, but it was doing well. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, like I can do that, even though I had like a 7-month-old, but I was like, let's try this, So that's kind of how it evolved into, Brilliant Babies, busy bags.
Right.
It evolved from there. And then a couple of months ago, my daughter, she's 2.5 now, and she has these very big, massive emotions and feelings. And so I was looking for some flashcards that resembled her, looked like us, and I couldn't find anything that looked like my baby. And so I was like, I'm just gonna make her some flashcards that has brown skin, has natural hair, she's big afro, because we're working on emotions. So I want her to be able to see her face, while we're learning, while we're working through all of the, like, while she's learning to navigate her feelings and work through her emotional intelligence. So I couldn't find anything, and so I created them. And while I was doing that, I ended up talking to a few friends, and they were saying they wanted them. And so I was like, okay, well, this is a niche, and so it has evolved into Brilliant Babies. And then the Brown Brilliance collection is what the flashcards have kind of just taken off and taken over. And they've been even more successful than the busy bags. And so that's where we are now.
Nice. So I know, with looking over your website and reading up about you and the company, what stuck out to me was the screen free play and learn. So how important is it for us take our children away from the screen to actually learn, like we used to learn, because we didn't really have the screens.
Yes. So, okay, it is extremely important, like for them to be able to navigate learning and playing in free time away from their iPads, away from these phones. I am not against screen time.
Mm-hmm.
I just am in moderation of screen
Okay.
time, and I want them to understand, like they can still engage, they can still have fun. Like there's other options besides like my kids both have iPads, but they have screen time. They're gonna do so many other things before they can get to screen time. You know what I mean? So, and that's not always their first option. Sometimes my son, it's screen time, and then he's like, he doesn't even want it, because I've opened his mind to understand that he don't need his iPad to have fun. Sometimes like that's all kids. As parents, it's just easy to just give them the iPad. You know what I mean? So I understand. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. It is easy, but if you set the precedent at a young age, like I said, therefore he doesn't. He will prefer to play, or he prefers to do busy bags. Like he loves to learn, because the key is to make it engaging, to make it fun, to meet them, where they are. So it's just instilling that in them as quickly as you can. Your child may be 7 or 8 already, but you can still break that habit. You just have to introduce them to things that excite them in a way that can get them intrigued and excited about learning in a fun way that's not just sit here, do your work, read this, you know what I mean? So that's all it's like. You just got to get them excited about it in a way that whatever they like, if they like dinosaurs, if they like cars, you can use that to teach, so you just have to find what they like to get them engaged, so that your go-to isn't like just get your iPad,
Right. And I think you touched on it a little bit when you spoke about the Brown Brilliance collection, but what makes this all important to you? What makes this work something that you're passionate about?
So as a teacher, I used to tell you, like I said, my theme was always learning is a party. And so whenever every year, teachers, we decorate our classrooms. And I always used to struggle trying to find like I worked in a Title I school where all the kids looked like me. And so I never could find little, 1, 2, 3 ABCs of like little brown kids. So I never hung up children's pictures in my classroom, just colors, balloons. Like it was always just fun, inviting, because I could never find any like brown kids. And I'm like, I'm not gonna decorate my room, bring my children into a space and they don't even see themselves. Right. So I was like always, like very passionate about that situation. I would like dismiss so many resources because I just wasn't comfortable, and I didn't feel like it was beneficial to my students when they weren't able to see themselves. So I turned away a lot of resources. I'm like, this isn't for us. You know what I mean? So I always knew at some point, like I wanted to make something like for us. So when this happened with my daughter, like I said a few months ago, I was like, it's a no-brainer. Like I went through this as a teacher. I didn't really have the time to invest. I knew it was a problem then, but I didn't have the time. But now I have the time. This is my baby for real, and like I'm gonna make it work. And so it was just very important for me to create that lane, create that space for, as we're learning, like you to be able to see learning resources that resemble who you look like.
Okay. And what ages are your learning resources for?
The flashcards, they are for 0 and up far as representation. You can never start just being able to see characters that look like you. And then for learning 2+. And the busy bags start 3 years old till 7 or 8. I don't really go by age. I kind of go by stages, because a 7-year-old could be, on a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old could be where a 7-year-old is, So it's kind of more so, if you're not sure, or, I'm always here to consult, talk with, where are they? Where are you trying to get them? Where are the next levels? Because it's more about developmental stages, you know what I mean? Than actually, definitely 3, because some of the busy bags have smaller parts, so choking hazards. Flashcards, I've had my people buy them for their newborns and just have them hanging, you know what I mean? So, and I have posters as well. So even if you don't want the cards, then the posters were available as well.
Okay. Okay. And you can go ahead and tell everyone where they can purchase everything.
Okay, so my website is www.brilliantbabiesbusybags.com. I'm Brilliant Babies Busy Bags on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. But that's direct to my website, and obviously, also on my Instagram, there's a link that'll take you straight to my website as well.
Awesome. And all those links will be in the show notes and the comments. So definitely, I'm sure more than half of our listeners and watchers have children. So what's one tip you can give to parents to keep children engaged in the learning process?
Sure. Like I said, just find what do they like, whatever they're interested in. My son, he loves cars. So when we use cars as counters. We have to count for working on homework. I'm like, go get your cars instead of using his fingers or whatever. He go grab his big Hot Wheel bucket, and that's what we're using, for counters or for cars. Even I use it for simple stuff like storytelling, So, he loves his car. So I'm like, what's this car's name? What's this car's name? Okay, we use our imagination. We're telling stories. He's fully engaged. And now sometimes he's playing and I can hear him. He's doing it by himself, because we've been doing this, whatever. But it's just being able to, number one, hands-on is very important. Anything tactile, hands-on, it's gonna aid in keeping them actively engaged. And then just using their interests to connect it to learning is gonna be key. So whatever your child likes, you have to find a way to connect and merge it into whatever it is that you're trying to teach them or whatever it is that they're working on or learning on. So those are the two key things.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because it's a lot of times we feel like they're not engaged enough, but we're not sitting back thinking like, is this engaging for them? Like we have to meet them where they are and make that part engaging. So less of the iPad, create times for the iPad, but be a little bit more involved in the learning process.
Right. And it's heavy on the beginning, but it gets easier. Once they learn, then you can just sit back and okay, they get it. Even my 2-year-old, she's 2, but she's been watching me work with my son. So she's already even more advanced than him because she's just around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once you put in the work on the front end, then they'll get it. They learn so quickly. They're sponges. This age, I love them so much because you can teach them anything. Literally, they can learn anything from 2 to 5. Their brains are just give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. So whatever you teach them, I believe that, and I think that's another reason I was so successful as a teacher. Is because I truly believe my kids could learn anything that I taught them, that they could learn it. And so I had kindergartners leaving my class on 2nd and 3rd grade reading levels, multiplying at 4 and 5. And so, but it's because I never studied. I always believed I wasn't okay, we're done with the kindergarten curriculum. Let's keep going, and they, we just kept going until June, until time was up. So
I appreciate you saying that, because it's a lot of times we do, when I asked you about the age, we're not stuck at the age, right? We're on their level. Where are they? And if they reach that level, then we're going on to the next level. We're just not going to stop. So
exactly.
That's amazing. So I want to kind of get into, you created something absolutely amazing with the bags, with the flashcards. How was that process? I know there's probably somebody watching who's looking to create some sort of game or something tangible. How was the process in creating?
Well, the busy bags, I feel was a little bit more natural because it was just something I did as a teacher just to kind of keep me organized. I knew all of my, rhyming was here, my sights words were here, my counting, my alphabet, my phonics. So it was kind of an organizational tool to me. I can craft them really well because it was a lot of work. So I didn't want to be redoing it every year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I feel I kind of got a little advantage over moms because I'm a teacher too. So it was just, some stuff was kind of like second nature, especially with the busy bags. It was just teacher resources, and I just kind of put my own like little twist on it, once because I knew how kids love like hands-on. I love that they can, bring their learning to them or take it wherever, so just a little, twist. Now the flashcards, that was a little bit of a learning curve for me because I had never, I had to search for like I tried to make them myself, actually thinking I'm a teacher, I can do this, but it wasn't giving what I needed it to give, give. So I was like, okay, let me outsource the design. So I had wrote out actually 21 hairstyles exactly. Like I knew exactly how I wanted my little girls to look. I drew them out, like how I wanted their puffs, their afro, their braids, their locks. Like I had everything to see. I just needed help bringing my vision to life. Mm-hmm. And so I went through a few designers for like 2 months. Like I don't say wasted, but I paid designers and I didn't like it. And I was, I knew what I wanted. So I was okay. Like, I paid her, but I didn't like it, so right. I went through it. So it was a process for me, but eventually I found Shay. She's amazing. She was able to like really bring my vision to life. My girls and boys cars just launched last month, and they're both beautiful. And so it was just kind of a learning curve, like really kind of stepping out of teacher more into entrepreneurship, season.
Mm-hmm.
So, just investing in the printer, the paper, the ink, all that. I was like, oh.
I know it's a process. That's why I asked. It's entrepreneurship, but you're also inventing something. Like it's not as simple as, oh, I want to start a business. Like you said, you have to find designers, you have to find a printer that can print the cards.
I went through, yes, it was. And like the one of the, and you would think it's like a tiny thing, but my cards have rounds, the corners are round for the to be safe. And Nicole, when I tell you, I never thought a rounder cutter would give me so much headache, so much tears, so much anxiety over a rounder cutter. I mean, I've bought, no joke, 7 different cutters to find the exact cut that I needed, that would be beneficial, because my cards are they're thick because they're for top, I wanted my daughter to be able to not rip it up.
Right.
For toddlers, but there's, toddlers are going to be managing them. And so I wanted it sturdy. So they're cardstock plus lamination. And so a lot of the corner rounders, they weren't cutting the thickness, you know what I mean? And so I was like, do I compromise the sturdiness of it for the cut? Do I just make them square? Because I had went through so many, like, it was just so much. And then I was punching them one by one. There's 21 cards, 4 sets of rounds. So, you do the math. Like, it was just a lot. Like, I right now, like, what's happening? Just all the things you don't even really consider. You know what I mean? So it's been a journey, but I'm grateful. I'm very proud of the product. It's been helping so many little boys and girls. Like, when I see the reviews and they're just, she looks like me, it's just like, it's all worth it. And so,
yeah. I mean, it's a different process that we don't normally see as entrepreneurs, as Black entrepreneurs, going through that design process and actually creating something. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that, because I'm sure when you purchase it, you're going to be like, oh, these are amazing, but then you're going to say, oh, she there was a journey to get to this amazing. So we definitely want to share those journeys. So I appreciate you going through that with us.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So do you have anything else going on this year?
No, I'm just still I'm honestly like still navigating like my mommyhood and entrepreneurship. I love like other moms that's trying to do this, because it's not easy, you know what I mean? But I'm doing it. And so it's I love like, being an inspiration and like a motivation. Like, you can do it. You can be home with your babies and you can still like have your passion, live your dream, invest in your business. I mean, some nights though I'm up till 3 a.m, and then I have to get up at 6 and get my son, so it's like that. But I'm literally trying to run a business during nap time. So like right now, I'm just like, she starts school in August. So I'm just like, give me the August when my baby goes to school. And then I feel like I can just fully, be present in my business.
Yeah.
More consistent on socials, because that's where I struggle, because I'm always filling orders. Like my work time, I'm like, all right, let me get to work.
Yeah.
Orders. And so I'm like, social media, but I know that's important, but it's like I only have so much time, right now. So I'm just, trying to juggle the seasons that I'm in, as gratefully as I can.
as we all are. And I'll tell you, being a mom is a hard job. Being an entrepreneur is a hard job, but being a mompreneur is it's nothing like it. If you can see the background stories and what we got going on in the background, what we're doing, trying to work and trying to mommy at the same time, it is crazy. But we do it. And my favorite work time is at night too, when they go to sleep. So I get so much done because it's no like interruptions or anything like that. So I totally understand that. But before we go, you touched on it a little bit. So we're going to give people an opportunity to shoot their shot at you. So what types of things do you need in your business? Do you need help with that people can reach out if they wanted to barter?
So yeah, definitely. So I would love like any marketing expertise. That's not a strong area of mine, or like lead generation, just more like help with exposure, like getting me out there. Like I say, I'm not big on socials as I should. So just making connections, doing more things like this with you. This is like, out of my comfort zone. So just that for sure. Like marketing is, I have zero experience marketing, and I really don't market, so just even to say my business is doing what it's doing with literal zero marketing, I'm grateful, I'm blessed for that. But I know that's the area that I want to grow in, learn, and improve in. So that for sure. And then, like I said, I'm always in need of ink, all these cards and card stock. I just bought ink yesterday, what's going on. So, any printing, stuff like that, I'm always in need of things like tangible items such as that.
Okay. All right. So you heard her here. Tangible items, any marketing assistance that you can provide, please do reach out in the comments. Shoot your shot at Krystal. Thank you, Krystal, so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Nicole, for this opportunity.
No problem. No problem. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. And we will be back here tomorrow talking to another amazing entrepreneur. So see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.